Dear Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to welcome all of you to join the event of lecture delivered by Honorable Dzongsar Jamyang Khyentse Rinpoche, held by National Taiwan University Sunrise Buddhist Club. During the event, there will be a 2-hour lecture, which includes discussion and opinion for current international affairs, such as conflicts and clashes between cultures and civilizations, inner peace of mankind, which includes the methods to maintain self-tranquility and seek real freedom, and also several social issues, which includes LGBT rights and universal human rights. And before the event formally starts, I would like to briefly deliver an introduction of our honorable speaker. Dzongsar Jamyang Khyentse Rinpoche, also known as Khyentse Norbu, is a Buddhist teacher and is also well known for his films and books. Rinpoche was born in Bhutan in 1961. He received a wealth of practice, instruction, and teachings from many different great masters of various lineages of Buddhism. His major guru is Dingo Khyentse Rinpoche. Rinpoche had devoted himself to disseminating Buddhism in his entire life. He had directed 3 award-winning films, which includes 1999, Le Coup, 2003, Travelers and Magicians, and also 2013, Vera, A Blessing. Also, he is the author of 2 masterpieces, What Makes You Not a Buddhist in 2007, and Not for Happiness, A Guide to the So-Called Preliminary Practice in 2012. And his newest film, Hema Hema, Sing Me a Song While I Wait, premiered at the Locarno International Film Festival in 2016. He also founded several international organizations, of which the Siddhartha's Intent, in charge of the publication and reservations of his teachings. Khyentse Foundation is a non-profit organization dedicated to supporting and promoting the Buddhist practice and studies around the world. 84,000 organizations translating all of the Buddha's words into modern languages. And Lotus Outreach conducts projects that help refugees in Asia, especially the women and children that are abused and inflicted with poverty. Khyentse Rinpoche is good at explaining the Buddha Dharma in various lucid examples. He had been invited to give lectures at the UC Berkeley, Yale, National University of Singapore, Peking University, and else. The audience could always effectively understand the core ideas of Buddhism from his lecture that were full of laughter and inspirations. And now, please give us applause and welcome the arrival of Honorable Speaker, Dzongsar Jamyang Khyentse Rinpoche. Please remain in order, and I guess there will be a few minutes later the speaker will arrive. And again, please give an applause and welcome the arrival of Honorable Dzongsar. Pardon that. Okay.请问，那个不好意思，那仁波切的话，他现在车子好像还要在一些时间才会到，那就请各位与会来宾，可能就先在座位上稍歇一会儿，那我们等一下就会即将开始我们的讲座，谢谢。好的。那本次的讲座的话，主要是我们讲者的名字叫做宗萨蔣扬欽哲仁波切。那他是在1961年出生在不丹。那他7岁时被萨迦萃金法王认证，那认证为宗萨蔣扬欽哲确吉罗卓的主要转世者。那欽哲确吉卓罗就是他的前一生转世，是19世纪最具影响力和受尊崇的文殊菩萨。那文殊菩萨意思是佛陀之智慧的化身。那蔣扬欽哲旺坡的传承继承者。那曾从各传承诸多大师处，然后领受过很多丰富的实修指导。那他的主要上师是顶果欽哲仁波切。那他现在在今世主要的著作包括佛教的见地与修道。不是为了快乐前行的修持指引，以及近乎佛教徒、人间是剧场等等等著作。那同样的，那仁波切他也有拍摄许多电影。那他拍摄过的电影包括《高山上的世界杯》、《旅行者与魔术师》，还有《舞娘禁恋》，以及刚刚有提到的《黑马黑马 Sing Me a Song While I Wait》。那他是在2016年最近才上映。那同样的，仁波切他也创立过许多的国际组织。那其中悉达多本院会负责发行和保存仁波切的教法。那欽哲基金会是个非营利组织，那致力于是护持和增进世界各地的佛法修行，还有学术研究。那还有一个是84000组织，是致力将佛陀教言翻译为现代语言，供大家参考。那最后一个是联心基金会，那他指导一系列的专案，用以帮助难民，尤其是受虐和贫困妇孺，在北印度的部分。那本次举办讲座的社团是台大晨曦社。那我们晨曦社是创立于1960年，然后是全国第一个大专院校的佛学社团。那晨曦社的话，它不隶属于任何一个宗派道场。是的，然后我们晨曦社主要就是做。然后现在仁波切看来已经是到我们的会场了，那请大家再给予一个热烈的掌声，欢迎我们仁波切的进场，谢谢。
各位先生、各位女士，还有各位老师跟各位同学，大家好。我是国立台湾大学的老师，也是晨曦社的指导老师。今天非常谢谢仁波切接受我们的邀请。那中华欽哲仁波切也是我的上师，那非常感谢他。那我们现在开始今天的演讲。今天的翻译是姚仁喜师兄。那请姚师兄还有仁波切，谢谢仁波切，我们鼓掌欢迎仁波切，谢谢。
First of all, I'd like to express my gratitude, and I'm very honored to be speaking in this learning center.
而且首先要谢谢大家，他很荣幸来这个最高学府来跟大家说话。
The Tibetans believe that even if you are confirmed that you will be dead tomorrow, you should still be learning today.
西藏人说，如果你明天要死亡的话，今天还应该学习。
There's a collection of, so I'm going straight to the sort of the purpose of tonight's gathering.
那么就直接深入今天晚上的主题。
And you have sent very profound questions. Thank you.
感谢诸位送了很多这个非常深奥的问题来，谢谢大家。
I will try to answer this.
那么现在试图回答这些问题。
Okay. Should I repeat the questions? Should I repeat the questions? I guess so, right? Yeah. Since the 20th century till now, cultural or religious conflicts have occurred frequently around the world, such as the clashes between the Christianity and the Islam, or the fights between Buddhists and Muslims in Cambodia and Bangladesh. Political scientist Samuel Huntington has proposed that the clash of civilizations would be the primary source of conflicts in the contemporary era. What is the function or the role of Buddhism in promoting the peace and the serenity in the world? That's the first question.
第一个问题是这个，21世纪到现在，很多宗教文明之间的这个冲突，比如说基督教跟伊斯兰教，还有缅甸、孟加拉地区，穆斯林等等的，所以这个 Samuel Huntington 说这个文明的冲突，所以问题是说，请问佛法在世界安定跟和平上能够发挥什么功能？
Well, this is a very big question, and covering this question from all aspects is going to be impossible.
这是一个大问题，要从每一个方向都来谈这个问题是不可能的。
World peace is a very abstract idea in many ways.
世界和平是从很多方面来讲都是一个非常抽象的观念。
I don't know whether this will ever happen.
不知道会不会有一天真的发生。
Individually, a human being can experience peace and harmony. That I believe.
而且相信个人是可以得到一种和平、和谐的状态。
Religion has also contributed a lot to the, conflict to the human mind.
宗教事实上也在这个人的心里面的冲突，造成了很多是因为宗教的关系。
And recently, as the question seems to be indicating, that there has been very unfortunate incidents in Burma, and maybe mainly in Burma. As a Buddhist, I would say this is not good, and we condemn such kind of act.
问题好像提到有关于缅甸最近发生的事情，而且说作为一个佛教徒，他是觉得这个事情是非常不幸的，而且他也谴责这样子的事情。
But we human beings, we live in 3 times.
可是我们人类呢，是活在这个三个时间里面，或者是说3世，就是过去、现在、未来。
We try to live in the present. I believe we try.
我们试图的想要活在现在，仁波切说他相信我们是有这样的企图。
But the past always haunt us.
可是过去永远在追逐我们。
And the future always makes us scared and uncertain.
未来总是让我们害怕，而且是不确定。
And I don't know, probably I'm being a little bit prejudiced here, but as I would say of all the religion, Buddhism may have been the most non-violent. I mean, there is really no record, or there is no scripture where, teaching actually encourages you to create violence in the name of the religion.
那罗切说，也许他是偏见，不过他认为在所有的宗教里面，最不暴力的应该就是佛教。至少在所有的这个记录里面，在这个经典里面，或者是在教法里面，都没有任何鼓励我们去以宗教之名行暴力之实的一个痕迹。
Of course, there's always bad Buddhists. I mean, you are facing one right now.
那当然，佛教徒不好的佛教徒很多，这总是会有。诸位现在面前就有一位。
If you annoy me, you know, I might beat you up too. I'm not that peaceful man myself.
如果诸位惹恼了这个仁波切，说不定他也会让你颜色看的。他并不是那么祥和的一个人。
But in the name of Buddha Dharma, in the name of Buddhism, in the name of propagation of the Buddhism, one could say safely there is almost none, you know, maybe very, very little, if not none, violence.
可是以佛法之名，或者是以佛教之名，或者是以传播佛教之名，而用暴力的话，我们可以说佛教几乎没有，完全没有。如果不是真正的完全没有的话，可以说几乎完全没有。
Countries such as Afghanistan, Pakistan, Indonesia, these are once upon a time a thriving Buddhist country, and look what has happened.
像阿富汗、巴基斯坦、印尼，这些都是以前佛法非常兴盛的国家，可是看看现在的状态。
In fact, some people might argue that because Buddhists don't really take arms, that's why they lost all these.
甚至有人会这样子说因为佛教徒完全都不拿起武器来保卫自己，所以才会变成今天这个状态。
Even in India, some of the greatest Buddhist monuments, universities, temples, they were totally destroyed. I mean, the completion of the destruction was done by Islam.
甚至在印度本身呢，很多这个重要的大学建筑、寺院，或者是这个僧侣的这个住的地方，都完全被全部摧毁，被这个伊斯兰教。
So I think when the intellectuals, when they think about these conflicts in these places like Burma, Sri Lanka, you know, Bangladesh, you know, they should really also think about the past, present, and the future, not always just think about what's there in the BBC and CNN.
所以知识分子们，当他们在看像孟加拉、这个缅甸啊等等这些地方的这个冲突的时候，他们也应该思考一下过去发生了什么事情，未来发生了什么事情，而不要只看现在在 BBC 跟 CNN 上面有什么事情。
Well, I'm a Buddhist. I can't hide that fact.
仁波切是一个佛教徒，他这个逃不掉，他不能躲避这个事实。
As a Buddhist, I believe that Buddhism can really contribute to the world peace and, you know, individual peace, society peace. I believe.
作为佛教徒，他相信佛教可以对于世界和平、社会和平跟个人的和平有贡献。
Even after 3 or 4 days being in Taipei, almost, you know, not remembering hearing a police siren because there's a violence somewhere, I contribute this little bit to the Taiwanese Buddhist society.
每次来台湾，经过了3、4天以后，他会忽然惊觉到说，3、4天都听不到这个警铃的声音、警笛的声音，因为没有什么忽然哪个地方产生一些罪犯或暴动。那他觉得这个对于台湾这个佛教对台湾的贡献，这是其中一点。
I'm sure, you know, there's also a lot of influence from the Confucius sort of influence. But, you know, Buddhism, I'm sure, is playing a role here.
当然也可能这个儒家的贡献也很多，不过他也觉得佛教的贡献一定也不少。
Because Buddhists do talk about love, compassion, putting your feet in someone else's shoes. Buddhists talk about cause and condition. Buddhists, in a way, Buddhism is the closest to the pluralism.
那因为佛教呢谈到慈悲，替他人着想，还有因缘等等的，所以佛教大概是最接近这个多样性的这种接受这个多样性。
And one of the three most important Buddhist principle, Sangha, is probably the closest thing to the democracy that we do talk about.
那佛教里面3个最重要的东西之一就是僧或者僧团，几乎就是最接近我们所谓的民主制度了。
And Buddha himself said, just don't take my teachings at face value, scrutinize it. You should not just believe in it. That's quite an advance for somebody to say this 2,500 years ago.
而且佛陀跟他的弟子们说，不要就听我的话就相信，不要只相信我的话的表面上的这个意义，而要真的去亲自去检视它。他这个人是2500年前就讲了这样子的话。
And the Buddhist findings such as time is relative truth, time is relative truth is Buddha found this way before Einstein.
佛陀也在这个发现了时间是一个相对的真理这件事情，比爱因斯坦早不晓得多少年。
And what is the most important we have? I would say mind.
那我们最重要的东西是什么呢？仁波切会说是我们的心。
It is our mind that is like the king that rules us.
我们的心就像国王一样统治着我们。
And I can almost safely say there is almost no system that really in-depth study about mind than Buddhism.
仁波切也可以说呢，几乎没有任何一种系统像佛教这么的深入去研究心。
And not just the study, read books and fill up forms and, write footnotes, but, there's actual practice, a technique that you can apply, which is living.
而且这个研究呢，并不只是写书啊，写一大堆表格啊，还加注解啊等等这些，而是真正有技巧、有办法去研究、去了解这个心，它是一种活的知识。
So I believe that Buddhism can play a role, but again, world peace for me is very abstract.
仁波切说，总结来讲，他是相信佛教是在世界和平上扮演绝对是有一个角色的。不过话说回来，世界和平对他来讲还是一个非常抽象的这个名词。
Okay, the second question is, in this age of booming internet and intelligence technology, there have been various kinds of technical advancements such as Pokemon Go, social media, wearable devices, virtual realities, etc. Some people claim that the machine will be replacing human beings in the future. What is the Buddhist view of the technological advancement? Is it possible to develop a robot with the same realization as Rinpoche?
这个题目是说，现在科技发展，我就简单讲，有很多这种技术。那有很多人说机器快要取代人类了，那有没有可能发展出跟仁波切有相同证悟的机器人？
If a machine, a robot or a machine, as long as this robot or a machine does not want to suffer, then I'm happy.
如果这个机器或者这个机器人，只要他不想要受苦，那仁波切就觉得非常满意了。
Because between us and the machine, there is really just a form, actually.
那在我们跟机器之间呢，事实上只有这个形态而已。
And Buddha himself taught in the Abhidharma Sutra, Sutra, he talked a lot about different realms, the realms that is like incredibly, beyond us. This is in the teachings of the Abhidharma.
那在佛陀自己本身教过的这个阿毗达摩里面，谈到非常非常多的这种界，我们说中文说界限那个界，各种各样的不一样的这个世界，完全都超越我们的想象。
So as long as I'm saying, as long as there is a sentient, as long as the machine gets jealous, gets angry, as long as the machine feels left out,
那所以仁波切在说的时候，只要机器或者机器人是所谓的有情 （sentient） 有情，只要机器会感觉嫉妒，他会生气，他会觉得被忽视。
and as long as the machine is happy, if you say, "Wow, you look nice today,"
如果机器高兴，比如说哇，你今天看起来很棒，
the machine might look very boxy and doesn't even look close to us human beings, but that's fine. We believe in many different sentient beings.
所以这个机器即使它看起来像一个盒子那样子，那也没关系，因为我们相信有各种各样不一样的这个众生在那。
And we also believe that where there is a sentient being, there is a bodhisattvas.
而且我们都相信，只要有有情众生的地方，就有菩萨。
And where there is bodhisattvas, there is Buddhas.
那如果有菩萨的地方，就有佛。
So I believe that there will be robot-like Buddhas, robot-like bodhisattvas.
所以仁波切相信，会有像机器人一样的菩萨，也有像机器人一样的、像机器一样的佛。
And you know, this does not. You know, I understand the sort of the seriousness of this question, but I'm not really worried about this.
仁波切知道这个问题背后的这种严肃性，不过他本人不太担心这个问题。
When I first came to Taiwan, there was no mobile phone.
仁波切第一次来台湾的时候，并没有手机这个
Now,
东西。
now we have mobile phone.
现在我们有手机，
We are now experiencing 4G, right?
我们现在是4G 的时代了。
I'm sure in 10 years' time we might have 10th G.
也许几年以后就10G 了。
My point is, from the time that I arrived till now, Taiwan is still suffer.
那他的意思是说，他第一次来台湾到现在，台湾还是在受苦。
Taiwanese still have this preferences. The robots, you know, all this advancement of the technology has really not changed their preferences. Like, oh, you know, some prefers, you know, like beef noodle to the tomato noodle, whatever. You know, they have preferences, habits.
这么多年来，台湾人还是有偏好，比如说喜欢牛肉面的，不喜欢番茄面，这样大家还是有这些东西。
What we need, whether we are technologically advancing or not, what we really need is we really need contemplation.
那我们真正需要的，不管我们的科技进不进步，我们真正需要的是能够沉思维。
We need to really look in, not always look out.
我们需要往内看，而不要老是往外看。
And you need to learn to program yourself.
而且你自己要学会能够设计自己的程式。
Yes, if you can develop, you know, you young people, you guys can develop a lot of things. Please develop an app that will not distract me.
如果大家都年轻人很会设计那种 apps， 所以如果你可以设计一种 app， 让仁波切可以不要分心散乱。
That will, you know, like make me concentrate.
让仁波切可以专注。
You know, something like an alarm, you know, machine.
某一种像这个闹钟一样的东西。
The moment I get distracted, it makes a sound.
如果他一分心散乱，就出一个声音。
So it could be helpful. Technology could be very helpful.
所以科技是可以有贡献的。
But I understand there are technology that are designed to distract you, such as Pokemon Go.
那当然也有这个科技设计来就是要让你分心散乱的，比如说那个 Pokemon 等等。
But you know, it's really in your hand.
事实上是在诸位的手中的。
Should you chase this Pokemon or not? You know, it's really in your hand.
你该不该去追逐那个 Pokemon 是在你的手上，你决定的。
You know, it is the Pokemon. What Pokemon, right? Pokemon. Yeah. The Pokemon is 2016's distractions, but we always had so many distractions in time immemorial. It's not like we just have a different one. That's it.
Pokemon 是2016年的分心散乱招数。事实上，从无始以来，我们就有各种各样的分心的东西了。
In the past, our distractions were, like invading other countries, stuff like that.
像以前的过去，我们的分心是去侵略别的国家啦
，killing other tribes.
把别的种族杀掉啊。
So Pokemon is much better than that in a way.
所以 Pokemon 其实比那些都好多了。
But should you fall for it or not? This is really in your hand.
那你该不该沉迷掉到那里面去呢？实在是在诸位自己的手中。
I mean, not just Pokemon. Like everything, fashion. Like everything, style. All these are, basically wanting your attention.
那不只是 Pokemon 了，当然其他的东西，像是这个时尚啦、各种风潮啦等等，都是在诸位自己手里的。
Okay, the next question. Recently, there have been calls for social reforms in Taiwan, such as legalizing same-sex marriages and reducing wealth inequality. What is Rinpoche's view of gays and wealth inequality? Could Buddhism offer some insights for those social issues?
这个问题是在讲同性婚姻合法化跟这个贫富差距。请问仁波切对这两个东西的看法，跟佛教是不是有一些洞见？
Buddhism has declined a lot.
诸位知道，佛教已经比以前这个不兴盛很多了。
I think this I forgot the name. This very very famous statistics sort of Pews, right? Pews. I think statistics. According to the Pew statistics polls, Buddhism is basically dying. It's like really, it's Islam that's growing, and Christianity that's growing. Buddhism is just really declining.
根据这个我忘了中文怎么翻译 ，Pews P-E-W-S 这个调查呢，这个最近的调查，佛教的人口是大大的降落了，减少了，然后伊斯兰教生长得非常快，基督教也很快。
And even in the past, many scholars have said that one of the reasons why Buddhism and Jainism, there's another religion in India, one of the reasons why they decline is because these two systems really don't care about social, not really don't care, care is maybe not the right word. It's got nothing to do with the social issues.
那其实很多这个学者曾经在过去都谈过，说为什么佛教还有另外印度的另外一个宗教叫做耆那教，这两个宗教的系统为什么会这个越来越衰败，是因为他们跟社会的主题都没有关系。
Buddhism, the main purpose of Buddhism is trying to find the truth.
佛教的主要的目的是要寻找到真谛。
not to construct a better, it's nothing to do with making a nicer society or a club. It's never a
他跟这个要去建构一个更好的社会或者是一个社团呢，完全没关系的。
I think this is important that many of you, younger generation know that Buddhism emerged. I mean, Buddhism was sort of taught by the Buddha, and Buddha was, from the worldly point of view, he had a family, he had everything. He had gardens, he had peacocks, he has palaces. It was not basically, Buddhism is not a byproduct of a political conflict or a racial conflict.
诸位年轻人都应该非常重视这件事情。而且说这个佛教是佛陀教导的。那从一个世俗的角度来看，佛陀事实上他有一切的东西，他有家庭，他有美好的花园、孔雀、宫殿，等等等等所有的东西。所以佛教的产生并不是因为某种政治或者是种族的冲突而的副产品。
Worldly speaking, Siddhartha was a happy man.
从这个相对的世界的这种角度来看，悉达多是一个快乐的人。
Married, child, everything.
结了婚，有小孩，拥有一切。
And the story is that he saw a death, and then he got like, wow, is this going to happen to me?
那故事是说，他看到有人死掉了，然后他在想说，这会发生在我身上吗？
And that led to the search for the truth.
那这个引导他去寻求真谛或者真理。
So the truth is the most important for Buddhism.
所以真理、真谛是对佛教来讲最重要的事情。
Just to accentuate what I'm saying, this is what I often say to my friends. Actually, in Buddhism, there's not even a ceremony like marriage ceremony that we don't have.
要更强调这些人们现在讲的话，人们就说他常常说，佛教里面连一个这种结婚仪式都没有。
How would you perform one with a Buddhist principle?
我们怎么用佛教的原理来举办一个婚礼？
You cannot say to a newlywed, hey, okay, get married, everything is impermanent, you might not last. You cannot say this.
佛教这个不能在婚礼上说很好，对新人说很好，好，你们现在两个要结婚了，可是知道事情是无常的，所以你们可能不会很久待在一起，不能这样讲。
So you know what I'm saying? In Buddhism, the truth is the most important.
所以在佛教里面，这个真理是最重要的。
How sex you have, with who you have, what gender you have, is really not an issue here so much.
所以你有多少的性，你也跟什么样的人产生性关系，什么样的这个性别产生性关系，对佛教来讲，这完全不是议题。
But having said that, as Buddhism traveled to different places like Tibet, China, Japan, Korea, the local culture may have influenced the interpretation of Buddhism. This is possible.
那虽然这么说呢，可是，在佛教传播到世界各地，比如说像西藏啊、中国啊、韩国、日本等等这些地方的这个当地的文化，很可能也影响到了这个佛教，这个是非常可能的。
Purely from the very big picture Buddhist point of view,
从一个非常大的这个佛教的观点来说呢，
different sex marriage does not guarantee the marriage will last longer than the same sex marriage.
异性婚姻呢，并不能保证比同性婚姻还来得长久。
to put it another angle,
从另外角度来看，
if a same-sex marriage contributes to the path of contemplation, this may be preferred to different-sex marriage.
从另外一个角度看，如果同性婚姻有某个同性婚姻贡献了，对于这个沉思或者是禅思禅定的这个道路有更大的贡献的话，那我们还比较喜欢这个同性婚姻，而胜于另外的异性婚姻。
You know, basically what we are talking about a prejudice, isn't it? We are talking about a prejudice here.
基本上我们在谈的是所谓的偏见。
You know, recently, this is very recent, I went to Nepal.
最近非常最近，仁波切去了尼泊尔。
And there's something so inspiring and so good happened in the immigration.
那在这个移民的这个过关的时候呢，有非常很棒的事情发生。
There is a form that you have to fill.
有一个表格我们要填的入境。
You know, your name, passport number, everything.
名字啊、护照号码等等的。
M for male.
那 M 是男性要打勾。
F for female.
F 是女性要打勾。
Then another one. O for other.
还有一个 O 是其他的。
Even Taiwan hasn't reached to this level of advancement.
台湾还不够进步了，还没到这个地步。
You are still stuck with the same-sex marriage. That's already an old issue.
诸位还为了这个同性婚姻在受苦，这已经是一个老问题了，过气的问题。
How about those hermaphrodite? You know,
如果是这个双性人怎么办呢？
they actually need a different toilet. Actually, do you have one in the university?
他们要不一样的厕所啊！诸位在台大有吗？双性人的厕所。
So, you know, we are talking about a prejudice here, and prejudice is always not good.
那我们在谈的是偏见，那当然偏见就永远不是好事。
Really, it's one of the most, it's one of the worst human sort of character, prejudice.
它是偏见，是人类最糟糕的一种个性的一种个性。
But it's not going to go that easily. Also, prejudice is very much protected as a culture sometimes.
可是也不容易一下就去除，因为偏见在各个文化里面都非常受到保护。
Now, the next question, I really like it.
好，下一个问题，仁波切很喜欢。
I'm feeling happy now without any pain. Should I learn Buddhism? What is the benefit of Buddhism for a university student?
我觉得很快乐，也没有什么痛苦，那还需要学习佛法吗？佛法对于大学生有什么好处？
This is a really good question. The reason why I say it's a good question is because it really points out a misunderstanding of Buddhism.
仁波切说这个为什么是一个好问题？因为它真正指出大家对于佛法的误解。
Because when we teach Buddhism, many times we teach things like Four Noble Truths.
我们教导佛法的时候，常常我们都教这个四圣谛。
And the first noble truth is the suffering.
那第一个圣谛就是苦。
So, you know, people always sort of, oh, Buddhism, they love to talk about the suffering.
那一般人就会说，哦，佛教徒他们喜欢谈苦。
You know, so nowadays, you know, the Buddhism is okay. Oh, those guys who talks about suffering, those guys who sit, who put their big bum on a cushion, you know, those who don't eat meat, you know, very generous, you know, big generalization.
所以一般人在说佛教徒，就说哦，那些喜欢谈苦的那些人啊，喜欢那个一大屁股坐在垫子上不动的那种人啊，都那种不吃肉的那种人啊。
But you know, the thing is, Buddha never said abandon suffering. Buddha said no suffering. This is very, very important.
可是很重要的是，佛陀从来没有说要抛弃苦，他是说要了知苦。
Buddha only said abandon the cause of the suffering.
佛陀是说要放掉、放弃 那个苦的原因，苦之因。
Now, coming to the actual question,
来回到这个问题，
I like to ask this person, are you subject of time?
仁波切很想提问的这位同学说：“你是不是受时间的限制或控制？”
And you have to be. I'm sorry, but you have to be.
仁波切说：“很抱歉的，你一定是受时间所控制，
Because we are all subject of time.
因为我们都受时间所控制。
And if you are subject of time, unfortunately, you are subject of uncertainty.
那如果你被时间所控制，不幸的，你就是被不确定性所控制。”
I'm very happy that you are happy.
仁波切很高兴，你很高兴，很快乐。
But I have to tell you the truth, which is time is uncertain.
可是仁波切要告诉你真实的事情，真理就是时间是不可确定的因素。
I wish you be happy.
仁波切愿你快乐。
But more than I wish you happy, I also wish you know that your happiness is a subjected to time. So if you know that, you will actually extend your happiness more.
那仁波切希望，不止你希望你快乐，也希望你知道，你的快乐是受制于时间的。可是如果你真正知道你的快乐受制于时间，那你就可以更扩展你的快乐。
So if you are happy, all the reasons you should be a Buddhist.
那如果你快乐，这就是你成为佛教徒的最好的原因了。
Because don't you want to be sort of continuously happy?
因为希望你永远的继续的一直快乐下
And
去，
make others also happy. That's even more happiness.
那同时让别人也快乐，那这是更大的快乐。
I think in our happiness, the most happy is when we can make other people happy.
最大的快乐，我们常常经验到的，都是让别人快乐的时候，我们所感受到。
You know, like when we give, a beggar a coin.
那我们给乞丐一个铜板的时候，
I think actually the giver actually reaps more happiness than the receiver.
事实上，这个给的人呢，可能得到比那个受的人还更多的快乐。
Okay, the next question: how to face the negative emotions such as sense of loss, being hated, being betrayed, or losing trust when interacting with the people, quarrels, or something unpleasant seem to happen inevitably? How to accept, forgive, and pray for the enemies or those who had hurt us?
下一个问题是说，如何面对失落感、被讨厌、背叛或失去信任等负面情绪？人与人之间的互动难免会争执或不愉快，如何接纳、原谅跟祝福曾经伤害过自己的人或敌人？
I can go on and on, talk about all sorts of stuff here, but it's not going to be useful.
仁波切说，他可以在这里一直的说一大堆，可是不会有帮助的，
It will be all very impressive, I'm sure, but it's useless.
都会听起来很好听的，可是不会有用的。
But as I was mentioning earlier, contemplation is so important.
就像仁波切刚刚说的，这个contemplation 就是沉思，或者是这个自己内省是非常有用的。
How many times you have been to Starbucks?
你去星巴克常常去吧？
How many times you have ordered iced coffee?
你点过多少次的这个冰咖啡？
Cafe latte, whatever, etc.,
任
etc.
何一种咖啡，
And you meticulously chose, right?
而且你非常仔细的去选你要的东西。
And how many times you sort of really went to the counter where there's a sugar and or the stir? How many times did you do this?
那你多少次你知道那个柜台，然后加糖啊等等这些动
And
作？
how many times you sat on a cushion or a table and drank?
那多少次你坐在一个位置上，然后就安住坐在那里？
how many times as the coffee is slowly going through your mouth and the neck, how many times you actually contemplated the Arabia, what a mocha, all this, like all this.
多少次这个你喝下去的时候，你感觉到说哦，mocha 或者是什么咖啡这样子，慢慢的进入你的。
And even more important, how many times did you really think about the one who is tasting the coffee?
那更重要的是说，你有多少次，你真正感觉到那个在喝咖啡的那个人。
This person,
这个人
the person who has a tongue,
这个人有一个舌头
mouth.
嘴巴。
It's amazing, this person who thinks.
这是一个非常奇妙的事情，有一个人有嘴巴有舌头，而且还会想。
How many times you have thought about this?
有多少次你这样思考过？
That's what we need to do, a little bit more.
这是我们要做的，当然还有更多的。
Like, most of the time, by the time we have finished ordering, we have even forgotten what we ordered.
大部分的时间，当我们点了咖啡以后，我们常常都已经忘记我们点什么。
Like me, many times I would not know if somebody give me a latte instead of, cappuccino, even though I have ordered a cappuccino. I would just, because my mind is texting somebody or thinking about someone else, busy, not contemplating.
有些自己的经验是说，有时候他 order 点了一个 cappuccino， 可是人家给他一个 latte， 他根本就忘记了，因为他那时候是在忙着在简讯啊，或者在想别的事情。
Basically, I'm talking about contemplating yourself.
基本上在谈的就是这个自己观察自己。
Please go to National Museum.
去这个国立美术博物馆。
Look at those beautiful drawings and characters and paintings and so on and so forth.
就是故宫了，然后你们去看那些非常美妙的这个以前的画啊、字啊等等的。
But here and there, also look into yourself, who is actually looking at those paintings.
可是，在做这件事情的时候，你偶尔也想一下，正在观看那个画跟字的那个人。
If you do that, then you will begin to control these emotions, the hatred, the aggression, so on and so forth.
如果你开始可以这样做的话，你就可以渐渐的控制刚刚所说的这种负面的情绪啊、侵犯性啊等等。
That's all I can say. For this is a very big question.
这是一个大问题，所以仁波切只能说这样子的。
The next question is, Rinpoche has always been very busy in the Dharma practice and giving teachings and lectures and making movies. Would you feel tired or exhausted? How to settle your mind in the busy life?
仁波切总是非常忙碌的在修法、传法、演讲，还拍电影。请问你会感到累吗？如何在繁忙的生活中安顿自己的心？
I'm very thank you for,
Have compassion.
I don't know. I have a feeling that probably whoever is asking these questions think that I have a settled mind. My mind is settled.
仁波切说他在怀疑问这个问题人觉得仁波切的心相当安定。
I should win an Oscar for being the best actor, of settled mind.
仁波切应该得到奥斯卡奖，就是最会演、看起来有安顿的心的一个人。
My mind is not settled.
他的心一点都不安顿。
Yes, also, since I've lived more than half a century now, I'm getting also exhausted.
是的，仁波切因为已经活了超过半个世纪了，所以他累了。
And I will tell you the reason why I feel that I'm exhausted.
仁波切告诉大家说，为什么他觉得累了？
Because I end up doing more things. Does it make sense?
因为他结果做的事情越来越多，这个有道理吗？听得懂吗？
Because you think that, you need to do this, you need to do that in order to be sort of more relaxing.
因 因为一般我们都觉得说，我们需要做这件事情，然后我们需要完成那件事情，所以我们可以轻松一点。
But in practically speaking, again, I would go back to the same answer to the earlier question. Contemplation.
一样的问题，他会回到刚刚的这个答案，就是要自己沉思内省。
You should really contemplate.
诸位应该要沉思内省、禅定。我想人们现在用的 contemplation 有很多层面的意思。
You should really, sometimes know that you have 10 fingers.
诸位，因为有时候应该知道自己有10只手指头。
Do you know that?
觉知道自己有10只手指头。
Do you know you have 10 fingers?
你知道你有10只手指头吗？
Maybe not.
也许不是这样。
Have you looked at it? Maybe there's an extra one growing.
你有没有仔细看一下呢？说不定多长出一只出来。
Maybe there's one missing. Who knows?
也许掉了一只，你都不晓得。
We never know. So, yes, contemplation on your body, on your feeling, on your mind, on your emotion, absolutely important.
所以对自己的身体、感觉、心、情绪要观察，要省思，这个非常重要。
Okay, the next question. What do lineage and tradition mean? There are many monastics, renouncers, or laypersons claiming that they are carrying certain lineages. How should we tell who are the true Kalayana Mitra, spiritual friends, whom we can rely on?
这下个问题是在问这个宗派跟传承，说台湾现在或者世界各地都有很多出家人或在家人，主张自己有某种传承宗派，令人眼花缭乱。我们应该怎么判断哪些是真正能够医治的善知识？
This is a very unfortunate one, but it is inevitable.
这是一个很不幸的状态，可是也难以避免。
We human beings always, it's just, we end up having a tradition, custom, lineage. We always end up, having that.
这是很不幸的，因为我们人类总是到最后就会跑出来这种传承啊、习俗啊等等这些东西，派别啊。
Many times we also treasure these things, tradition, culture.
而且我们常常还非常珍视这些像文化啦、传承啦。
Identity is so important, isn't it?
对我们来讲，这个认同感非常重要。
So, same thing in Buddhism. There are all sorts of schools and tradition and so on and so forth.
所以在佛教里面也一样，有各种派别啊、传承啊等等。
And I have to say, it has its own purpose. The rituals and the styles and discipline that are slightly different, coming in a different tradition. It does serve certain purpose.
那当然，它也不是完全没有目的的，有一些这个各种仪轨啊，这种风格啊，或者各种不一样的纪律啊，都有它的目的。
But certain things are, like for instance, if you go to Burma,
比如举例说，如果你去缅甸，
monks beg food.
那在那里的出家僧侣是托钵乞食的。
Begging is considered noble living.
这个乞讨是被认为是一种高贵的生活的方式，在那里。
Monks beg food. The moment they have what they need, they just go.
他们在乞食，只要他拿到足够的食物，他就走了。
It's considered the most respectable way of living. You do not harm anyone. You are begging. You are not stealing. You are not deceiving anyone.
那被认为是一个最高贵的一种生活的方式，因为你不去伤害任何人，你只用乞食的，然后你也不去偷窃，完全不会欺骗任何人。
You can't really do that in London, for instance.
可是你在伦敦大概就不能这样做了。
It would be considered, begging has a different connotation.
那这个乞讨、乞食在伦敦就完全不一样的意义。
You know, you have to, so this is what I'm saying is, as the teaching goes to different places, sometimes the force of the local whatever existence does change things.
这就是仁波切说的，这个佛法到了世界各地，不一样的文化就会对那个佛法有一些影响。
But I think the main question here is who can we rely on? A teacher, I have a feeling that's what this person is talking about.
那在这里主要的问题是在问说，我们应该能够相信或者依赖什么样的老师？
If you are a beginner, I would advise not to rush finding a teacher.
如果你是初学者，仁波切会建议你不要匆匆忙忙就想要去找到一个老师。
Buddha himself said, never to depend on a person, depend on the teaching.
佛陀自己说，依法不依人。
Then the next question, what is the purpose of practicing meditation? Is there anything we should pay special attention to when there are various experiences? How to tell which one is real?
下一个问题是说，学禅定静坐目的何在？需要注意哪些地方？过程中产生的各种现象，怎么知道是真的？
This is an important question.
这是一个很重要的问题。
So I'm going to concentrate on what is the purpose of practicing meditation.
所以仁波切要集中在这个目的这个问题上面。
For Buddhism, right?
For sitting，
Yeah, I mean for Buddha Dharma in Buddhism.
在佛教里面，禅定的这个目的是什么？
Because these days, meditation has become a trend.
因为这个打坐或禅定已经变成一种风潮了，
Even in the resorts,
甚至在
spas, they teach meditation.
在 SPA 这个度假酒店都在教打坐了。
In the spas, people teach meditation so that these CEOs will become more ruthless and more greedier after 3 days of rest.
那在这个 SPA 里面，或者是这个休闲旅馆里面所教的目的，是让所有的这个执行长们、企业执行长们，经过3天的轻松休息以后，可以出来变成更狠毒、更坏。
In Buddhism, again coming back to the truth, the real purpose of meditation is to see the truth.
那在佛教又回到这个真理，这个禅定的真正的目的是要看见真理。
So that's why the Buddhist classic term is vipassana.
所以佛教的这个基本的这个一个观念或者一个字眼叫做 vipassana， 中文翻成观。
Vipassana has the connotation of seeing extra or seeing insight.
vipassana 这个意义呢是看见超过的东西，或者是所谓的内观，看到里面的东西，
Seeing the truth.
就是看到真理。
And if you do the vipassana conducted by Burmese monks or they are wonderful.
如果你去参加那个缅甸出家人的这个内观禅修的话，他们这种修持非常好。
I just recently sent somebody to do this vipassana 9 days in Burma.
仁波切最近才派了他的一个弟子吧，去参加这个9天的缅甸的那种内观修习。
And when he came back, he was telling me that something that he has never experienced before is like how moment by moment we are changing.
那他回来跟仁波切报告说，他感受了一个从来没感受过的东西，就是他感受到我们每一刹那自己怎么在改变当中。
Sand hills, sand hills.
像这个沙堆，
It's moving all the time.
就是它沙每一刹那它都在动。
Or maybe a good example is a horizon and a ship coming towards you from the distance, and then it looks like it's not really moving, but it's always moving, coming towards you.
或者是像海平面上，你看到远远一艘船对着你开过来，看起来好像它没有在动，可是它越来越近，越来越近。
This is how our existence are. Our body, our mind, everything is
这个就是
always moving.
我们包括我们的身体、我们的心存在的状态就是这样，刹那之间都在变化，
It's always shifting.
永远在转化变化之中，
It's always deforming.
永远在变形当中。
Just realizing that, I think, is such an insight.
那只了解到这一点，就已经是非常不得了的这种洞见，对自己的生命的洞见。
To do that, in order to really get to the insight, we also have techniques such as shamatha, which is to really make your mind, workable.
那为了要这样做，当然我们还有其他的这个技巧，就是像这个 shamatha 或者中文翻成止的这种修行，让你的心能够容易操作，容易柔软。
What are the special characteristics? Okay, the next question. What are the special characteristics of Tibetan Buddhism? What is the practice of union? What kind of people are suitable for practicing Tibetan Buddhism?
下个问题是说，藏传佛教的特色是什么？什么是双生法？什么样的人适合学习藏传佛教？
This is yet again another unfortunate thing, the labeling such as Indian Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism, Japanese Buddhism and all that, nation thing.
再度的，这又是一个不幸的事情，把这个佛教标签为印度佛教啦、藏传佛教啦、日本佛教等等这种地点。
Because again, I'm repeating here, Buddhism really talks about the truth.
而且要再重复，就是说，佛教真正的在谈的是真谛。
So one of the Buddha's teachings, such as all compounded things are impermanent.
所以，比如说佛陀的一个教法说，一切和合的事物都是无常的。
That is the truth.
这是一个真理。
There is no such thing as the Chinese impermanence, Tibetan impermanence, Japanese impermanence.
没有所谓的中国式的无常、日本式的无常、西藏式的无常。
Or you can also say, the Japanese impermanence is more, there's a lot of, like order.
你或是说，日本式的无常呢比较有规律。
Like some 5 people saying sorry, another 5 people bowing down, all that kind of thing.
有5个人跟你同时说抱歉，有5个人同时跟你鞠躬，等等，这样子。
You understand what I mean? You cannot really nationalize.
你不能把这个佛教国族化。
But as the teaching traveled, again, it got labeled as a Tibetan Buddhism, so on and so forth.
那可是因为佛教在传播的过程里面，它就被贴上标签，所以产生出所谓的这个藏传佛教啊等等。
For instance, Tibetans read the same Diamond Sutra that you guys read.
因为西藏人事实上读跟我们念的《金刚经》是一样的一部《金刚经》。
Chinese are reading the same Heart Sutra that the Japanese are reading.
中国人跟日本人念一样的《心经》。
Chinese are saying no nose, no eyes, no ears, no this, no that. And Japanese are saying the same thing. They are not putting in another extra organ or missing another organ.
我们说无眼、无耳、无鼻等等等等的无什么无什么，日本人也是无这么多，他并没有多一个五官去无。
Okay, but I understand, I have a sympathy to have this labeled Tibetan Buddhism.
可是仁波切也对这个被标签成藏传佛教有一种同情心。
Because around the late 7th century, Tibetan nation wholeheartedly put everything behind Buddhism.
因为在差不多这个7世纪尾端的时候，西藏整个国家把所有的国力全部投入佛教。
We are talking like 90% of the national budget.
我们在谈的是大概90%的国家的预算，全国预算全部投入佛教。
No defense, no economy, no universities, nothing. Only Buddhism.
没有国防，没有这个教育，没有所有其他的，没有经济，所有东西都放进佛法里面。
You can almost say the Tibetan language is basically developed to translate the Buddhism into Tibetan.
你几乎可以说，西藏文字的这个目的，为什么会发明，是为了要翻译佛经成为西藏文才发明。
The brightest, the cleverest, the mightiest Tibetan children are sent to India, forced almost, thousands.
所有最好的、最好的这个西藏小孩都被强迫的送到印度去学佛。
That is the prize thing to do. It's a bit like going to Yale or Princeton, you know, like.
Or Taiwan University.
Or Taiwan University, yes.
这个几乎就是像把小孩送到耶鲁啊，这个哈佛还有台湾某个学校一样。
So, you know, it's so yes, for hundreds of years, Tibetans put so much heart and head to Buddhism.
所以几百年以后，就是这个7世纪以后的几百年，西藏人投下很多心力在佛教上面。
So I guess, you know, Tibetans sort of deserve, you know, it's, you know, to have this, Tibetan Buddhism, you can say, you know, from this point of view.
所以从这个观点来讲，西藏人似乎是值得有一个名声说，藏传佛教，你看这都是西藏人的贡献出来的。
And unfortunately, when there is a Tantric Buddhism these days, they always seem to associate Tantric Buddhism into Tibetan Buddhism.
可是很不幸的是，如果当我们谈到这个密乘佛教的话，大家都把密乘跟藏传合在一起。
It's not really true because actually in Japan also they have Tantric Buddhism.
这事实上不是正确的，因为像在日本也有所谓的密乘佛教，东密。
I think one part of the question here is what is the practice of union?
其中的一个问题是说，什么是双身法？
Are they talking about third initiation on that?
No, I think just very general, the union.
Idea of tantric sex?
Yeah, tantric sex.
Okay, I understand. Okay. The union practice, yes, it is a tantric method.
那所谓的双身法，是的，它是一种密乘的修持的方法。
And it is a very, very, very high standard, high class sort of philosophy here.
那它是牵涉到一个非常高层次的这个高标准的这种哲学在里面。
And this has actually caused lots of trouble for Tantric Buddhism also.
那事实上，它也造成了密乘佛教的很多麻烦、很多问题。
Like other Buddhists, you know, like the Sharvakayana and Mahayana Buddhists say, sex, you know, like this.
那像这个声闻乘的佛教徒、大乘的佛教徒都会说：“哎呀，这个性怎么混到这个佛教里面了？”
it has caused a lot of trouble.
造成了很多麻烦。
But but I want to just for the sake of fun here.
而且为了这个好玩呢，就讲下面这些话。
In Mahayana Buddhism, you read Vimalakirti Sutra, for instance.
那在大乘佛教里面，我们阅读这个维摩诘经。
Do you know Vimalakirti Sutra? Some of you?
诸位知道维摩诘经吗？有些人。
There, Buddha said, well, in this sutra, it says, lotus will never born in a very clean place.
在这个经里面说，莲花绝对不会在一个清净的地方生长出来。
Lotus is only born in a muddy, like dirty water.
莲花只会在那种很脏的这个污泥里面长出来。
In fact, Buddhists almost are proudly saying that, see, even from the dirty water, beautiful lotus blooms.
事实上，佛教徒还常常都很骄傲的说：“你看嘛，这么漂亮的莲花从这个肮脏的污泥里面长出来。”
And there Buddha said, the wisdom can be found only within the emotion, never apart from it.
但是在这个时候，佛说，智慧只能在烦恼或者是情绪里面找到。
It's a very, very profound, really, we are talking about the highest level of philosophy.
那我们事实上在谈的是非常深奥、最高层次的哲学。
So Tantric Buddhism has the technique of, applying these wisdom.
那密乘佛教呢，是有一些技术来应用这个最高的哲学。
Yes, therefore, there are practices such as union practice.
因此，是的，有一些修持是类似像双身法这种修持。
Because Tantra believes that there is nothing that cannot be used as a path.
因为密乘认为没有任何东西不能拿来用在法道上面应用。
Okay, now last question. I think I can make the last one now.
好，那最后一个问题，
How do I know if I'm on the right track of realization or just being superstitious? What is the difference between being reborn in the Buddha field, Pure Land, and believing Jesus and getting eternal life, going to the heaven after the death?
如何判断自己走在正确的觉悟道路上，还是迷信？往生净土的这种信仰，跟信耶稣得永生的天国有什么差别？
Not just, Pure Land and the heaven and all of that. Even love and compassion. There is a lot of similarity with many religions.
不只是说所谓的净土跟天国有类似，事实上很多宗教对于像慈爱啊、悲心啊都有相似的地方。
But fundamentally, what differentiates all of this is the view, the truth.
可是基本上最大的不同是见地的不同。
So, Buddha field that Amitabha Ram talks is not at all similar to the heaven that the religious people talk.
所以佛陀在讲的净土，说阿弥陀佛净土，完全跟其他宗教人在讲的天国是完全不同的。
Because maybe I don't think many religions would say this is Buddha field.
因为大概没有其他的宗教在说此地就是佛土。
Buddhists might say it's all in your mind. This is hell, but together this is also heaven.
那佛教会说一切都是你的心，所以这个是地狱，可是这个也可以是天堂，
So
也是天堂，不是也。
this is the Amitabha realm.
这就是阿弥陀佛净土。
Now, whether you actually have a realization or whether you are being superstitious, very difficult to differentiate for time being.
那至于你是觉得自己有一点这个成就证悟，或者是你觉得你是迷信，在目前这是非常难以区分的。
The only thing that I can share with you now is if you have more realization, you'll become more humble.
那仁波切可以跟大家分享的唯一的一件事情是说，如果你觉得你的成就，你在觉悟道上有更多的成就的话，你会变得更谦卑。
If you are more superstitious, you'll become more egoistic.
如果你变成更迷信的话，你就会变成越自我这个强大的那种样子。
And then you will drive everyone nuts.
然后你会让每一个人都受不了。
And with this, again, thank you for listening to this.
今天说到这里，谢谢诸位的今天晚上的参与。
And I wish everybody happy.
愿大家快乐。
And everybody have a lot of fun.
愿大家很过瘾，很开心，很好玩。
So thanks for the lecture and also the wisdom contained inside, delivered by Dzongsar Jamyang Khyentse Rinpoche. Please again give our honorable speaker an applause. And we would like to show our gratitude for your participation of the event and hope all of you could get what you owe to and the answer, the key you are looking in your life in the past 80 minutes. And that will be the end of this event. Thank you.
谢谢仁波切 ，Thank you 仁波切 ，Thank you。
那感谢本次与会贵宾对于本场次的参与。那本场次就大概到此时结束。那未来台大晨曦社也会举办一系列关于佛学的讲座，也欢迎各位的参与。谢谢。